kids. You don't need to wait for permission to balance a guitar on your nose. Just go ahead and do it. Deal with the consequences later.
I don't know how well I'm selling it, but I need to get more energy about it. But it is a good record.
It's probably going to be good.
Yeah. A real player would use his hand. Mr. Purist.
I play the guitar with my mouth.
Yeah. I saw a flyer on the floor from a Christian group asking women not to ring their devil's doorbell. And I thought, fuck that. Everyone should be allowed to ring whatever doorbell they like.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Charlytalk, the show where I talk to musical types about making music. If you like what you've seen so far on the series, please take a minute to give us a subscribe, because YouTube have just changed the way that we can monetize this content, and if we don't have 1,000 likes, then we earn even less than we were before. So yeah, please just take a moment to click the subscribe button and the little bell next to it. That really makes a big difference to us if you like what you've seen. Thanks. So I'm joined today by William Campbell, aka Tall William.
Hello.
Hello, sir. Thanks for joining us here in the cellar.
Absolutely no problem. Thanks for inviting me.
So, Tall William, singer-songwriter,
Yeah.
acoustic guitar and shouting.
Yeah, that's pretty much
Fair?
it. Yeah, fair assessment.
Yeah, maybe give the viewers a bit of a biog to start things off.
Well, yeah, I was born in Scarborough. It's also where I bought my first guitar from Bernardine's music shop. Don't look for it, it's not there anymore.
Shout out.
Yeah. My mum was a bit of a David Bowie freak, and my dad was into Jean-Michel Jarre, Pink Floyd and that kind of thing. I think that had a pretty big influence. Also growing up in the 90s, there was Britpop around and stuff like that, so that kind of comes through in the songs as well. There's a lot of choruses, a lot of shouting, a lot of weird lyrics.
Punk rock acoustic guitar?
Yeah.
Post-punk?
Yeah.
What can we call it? Yeah.
Bowie, Blur, Jean-Michel Jarre, that's pretty much it.
Oh,
No,
right.
it's not. I think you did it well, shouting and strumming.
Shouting and strumming.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
And occasionally attacking whatever it happens to be on stage near you.
Yeah, I do that, yeah.
It's good. It's rock and roll. We like it.
Yeah.
So what brings you to Austria?
Last place I lived in Sheffield was Sheffield. In the UK was Sheffield, and wasn't so much going on there job-wise. Some people in Berlin said, hey, do you want a job? I said, yeah, I'll go and do that. And then I worked my way down to Austria. And as I always do, every time I move to a new place, just started trying to get in on the scene, make a bit of music, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
Cool. And here we find ourselves.
Yes.
You're doing a gig tonight, but it's too late for this. That'll be over.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, we can assume that it was great. Have a look on the Insta feeds. I'm sure you can find stories of its greatness, legends possibly even of its greatness.
Yeah, maybe. A
Check
few
it
things
out.
might have got hit.
Doubtless there was much shouting and possibly screaming. Never know, stuff probably got hit.
Yeah.
That's our future predictions.
And it kicks off a good run of gigs, actually.
Good.
Doing a few more in Vienna on the 3rd of May. We'll talk about it later, but the 3rd of May there's going to be a release concert for new EP.
Cool.
And doing a bit of a tour, going to Salzburg and Linz and Ljubljana, first gig in Slovenia.
Okay.
So yeah, really looking forward to that.
Sweet, yeah. Cool. So take us back. Earliest musical memories. Fish one out for us.
Well, as it's my earliest, there's only one.
All right.
But
You got me there.
Yeah.
I'm going to edit that out and maybe look stupid.
No, it's every dog has his day.
Jump cuts.
Yeah, and earliest musical memory was we used to have this old piano in a family home in Knaresborough.
Yeah.
Just hitting the keys on that and just asking my dad to play the Get Back song, because I didn't know what it wasn't the Beatles one. It's Steely Dan. Back Jack, do it again, do do do. And he would just play that round and round, like Les Dawson, just slightly wrong.
Good.
And I'd be like, oh, play that one. And that's the first musical memory I have.
Were you entertained by him playing it wrong?
Yeah. Well, I didn't know it was wrong.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. But I remember loving the chords and it just creating a little bit of like, knowing, I don't know, it's the first time I thought like, wow, sound can actually be really cool. you can put chords, you can put things together, and it creates a feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really good.
Right.
And atop this piano was an old PYE record player, which we have like Mike Oldfield on it, Tubular Bells.
Sure.
Yeah. Or Bowie.
Yes.
So that's where we were. So it all kind of came from there.
Okay. And then moving slightly forward in time, do you remember an event that led you to consider music as a career option, or something you might want to take more seriously?
Yeah, there was. It wasn't so like a lightning bolt kind of moment. It was actually a moment that made me feel a bit stupid. Like, how come I hadn't realised this before? Because I was really late to the game, realising you could do music as a living. I was about 16. I was aware that people made albums and did concerts and things like that. But the fact that it was a job at the same time was just because I thought job is something that you just despise and it pays. Music is obviously amazing.
Sure.
And then I went into a studio with my first high school band, and it was that moment I realised this is something that people actually do for work. This guy's a sound engineer and he loves it. And and I thought, wow, you can actually play music and write songs and record them, and it had to be your job and something you actually like doing.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like it was a slow burn of a realisation, but at the end of it I did feel kind of stupid being age 16 and not realise that before.
But often it takes someone who you can in some way relate to, so you can imagine, okay, that's a thing that I can do.
Yeah.
Black Panther's just come out in the cinema, and this is related to this.
Yeah.
I'm reminded of one of the African actresses saying she saw Whoopi Goldberg in a movie, just in a romantic movie, playing a person in love with another person, and that was the first time it occurred to her, oh, I could be in films, just being a person in a film. So
yeah,
I think
you need a kind of something, like you say, it's relatable, and it kind of opens that world to you. And because I'd been to concerts before, and I'd seen, like, I think the first concert I ever went to was 14, and I went to see the Vines, and the stuff they were doing on the stage, you watch it and you think, like, that can't be a job. I mean, it was brilliant, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
But like balancing, like, what do you do for a living? Oh, I strum out some chords and I balance the guitar on my nose. Like, that can't be. They must do something else besides that.
They can't be allowed to get away with that and make a living.
Yeah, I know. And it was like 2 years later, there was a guy who said, yeah, you can do that. If you want to.
You don't have to wait for permission to balance a guitar on your nose.
No, well, quite.
Kids, you don't need to wait for permission to balance a guitar on your nose. Just go ahead and do it. So you got the idea. Okay, that's something I could do. So songwriting started soon after that?
Yeah, I reckon so. I wasn't the songwriter in that group. I was just playing the bass guitar.
Okay.
Which is, it's also, you can also make a living at that as well if you want, but it's a bit harder.
Right. Bass.
And again, like, I wasted a lot of teenage years waiting for permission for stuff. That's a piece of advice. Like,
I hear that.
Given it, but like, it's sincerely, don't wait for permission. Because I showed a few songs that I'd written. It was a complete rip-off of Maggie's Farm. It's called Maggie's Tail Off Blues. Yeah. And my friend went like, "That's good. You should perform that at the school talent show." And like for about a week, I thought he was taking the piss. But he was like, "No, you should actually do it." I was like, "Okay, this is not a joke anymore. Like, you actually want me to do that."
Yeah.
And so I realised, you can actually perform songs if you want. Incredible. It's like things that you looking back, you think, like, how did I not put two and two together? Because up until that point, learning guitar and writing songs was just kind of like, I wonder if I could do that. Yeah, it wasn't as good as Mull of Kintyre, but still, it was, because that was in the songbook I was learning from. So it wasn't as good as that, but I used all the same chords and I made up my own words. Okay, what's for dinner? And then someone comes along and goes, that's actually a decent song, and you can play that live if you want to.
It's making the connection between these two worlds, because I can only speak for myself. In the 90s, there were no YouTube channels where you could see like interviews with the artists that I was interested in, like the grunge guys. In England, I had no access to interviews with them, so unless someone had said to me, hey, I'm starting a grunge band, can you come and play bass in here, because we haven't got a bassist, it never would have occurred to me to do it, I think.
Yeah.
I would have probably just carried on playing the violin.
Well, yeah.
Which,
It's, well, you can, now anything's possible. You can have a violin player in your band, you can have a cello player. Like, someone was telling me the other day, because the first band that he was ever in high school would probably be quite big right now, because there was him on the acoustic guitar,
right.
there was a proper like metal drummer, there was someone on cello, someone had a banjo, because it was just, these are all the people who could get together in music class,
Sure.
and make like a hodgepodge of anything to do with productivity and music.
Heavy metal cello's pretty hot right now.
Yeah, but now like that would fly off the shelves.
Right, you'd be all right, for sure.
Or fill venues, because nothing flies off the shelves.
There are no shelves.
No.
Forget shelves.
Digi shelves.
Fly off the virtual shelves.
So yeah, you're right. If you wanted to learn something, you had to learn it from a person and go and speak to them, or like wait for like the cassette video to come out of I had Nebworth Oasis performance. You just go pause it and it would go, and you'd be like, is that a B? VHS. Rewind, scan. No, it's gone.
It's a chord.
Yeah,
Definitely a chord.
and that was it.
That was all we had.
But yeah,
Oh man.
but songwriting came pretty soon after that, and
Hey.
again the feeling of just being able to put something that you feel down against some music, and I thought like saying an opinion you have is a satisfying feeling, but when you can harmonize it to a guitar, that's twofold at least.
Mm.
It's a fantastic feeling.
Yeah, at least double. So, getting on to that, since we're there, conveniently, what is a typical songwriting procedure for yourself?
Well, I think everyone might say the same thing. There's no like hard and fast rule, but
More often than not.
yeah, but more often than not, there's a melody in my head. It usually helps to go as far away from my house or somewhere as possible with no writing implements or any way of recording it whatsoever, and then something amazing happens in your head and you're like, I've got to get home.
Mm-hmm.
Avoiding all kind of other melodies on the way. And yeah, then I think, what can I build around this melody? Then when the kind of structure is done, I try and get a decent chorus written, and then that's it. And then I go out and I gig it. Just kind of making up the verses as I go, once you got like the fear on the stage, and then you find out what the song's about. and then you rewrite the chorus, and then I've written a lot of songs like that, like at least 3 on the upcoming EP. Written like that.
I like that. Trial by fire. This near's driving me mad. So you really put yourself in a stressful situation, and something happens.
Yeah, because you don't then spend ages thinking, is that the right rhyme to go with that? You've just got to find something that rhymes.
Shit.
And you
like
end up
freestyle rap.
Yeah, you end up rhyming mouse with house or the other way around, and then you just, when you get home, you're like, right, what did I rhyme it with? And then you make it fit. You make the words connect the dots afterwards. And then,
So do you record that, or you just remember because of the?
Well, I try and have kind of a mantra or a rule that my brother told me. I don't know how good it is. He won't remember this if he watches this. It was in a Vodka Revolutions years ago. And he says, if you can remember that, it's a good lyric. I'm like, right, I won't write it down then.
Yeah.
But then again, like I say that, and sometimes I'll be at home and I'll write a song in one sitting and I'll record it on the phone, or I'll be walking around. Like I say, if I do have my phone with me and a melody strikes me, then I'll wait till no one's around and I'll just sing into my phone, at a bus stop, and then wait till I get home and I write it. And yeah, but usually it always starts with melody, and it needs some refrain or some hook that you can build the rest of the song around, because I'm not into just lecturing people to music for 5 minutes.
Got it. And hearing you say that trial by fire technique, which I don't think anyone's ever said to me before, that I've had the pleasure of seeing you live. Ladies and gents, take the opportunity should it present itself. It's a very good, very nice experience. And I was struck by how comfortable you seem to be on stage, which you see quite often with front persons, but also how you were almost almost confrontational and unapologetic. Are you comfortable with the uncomfortable? Would you say that that's the sort of person you are, or?
Oh, if I knew that, then I probably wouldn't be comfortable with the uncomfortable. I'd probably think too much about it.
But you feel all right on stage?
Yeah, I feel good. What I always say to people, what I love about being on stage is the fact that you're aware of every second that passes, and almost anything you say in between a song can be funny. If you leave a gap or something, and someone drops a glass and you comment on it, it's just immediately funny.
Yeah.
And yeah, I like to make the audience kind of feel like that they're not taken for granted in some way, and to do that is to almost make fun of them a little bit, or get them involved. But it has to be spontaneous. You can't just prepare something and then try and make it fit to someone in the front row.
Yeah.
It's got to be in the room. But yeah, I do like the feeling of something might go wrong at some point. I guess I do like that.
Mm.
This is like therapy. This so it's all coming out now.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that type of presence and that type of energy on stage, like live. Like it's you look like you're up to some kind of mischief, or you've got a little glint in your eye. Like, yeah, comfortable, but also, yeah, unapologetic's the only word I can think of. It's quite a unique stage presence that you have.
And thank you.
I mean that in a positive way.
Yeah, I take it in a positive way. But yeah, you shouldn't really be apologetic about your music or what you have to say. You really can say anything you like, and if the room clears out, then that's fine. You know where you are. And then the two people that are there, you're like, okay, is there any more like you around?
Yeah.
And there is, and then you build up from there.
Yeah. I mean, in some ways, it's better to clear a room and have a handful of people left than have a load of bored people chatting to each other and sort of half clapping in between the songs.
Yeah.
Because nothing is really happening up there.
And musicians can tell if with the lukewarm, getting a clap, and then when you finish a song and you just get blown away with it, you're like, okay, you like that one, and I can tell that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think getting them on side with a joke or a bit of ribbing or making fun of yourself or something, it always helps.
Or the bassist.
Am
I right, Marcus? High five. He didn't do a high five symbol, I think, behind the camera. Cool. So let's move on to plugging your latest musical efforts. You mentioned it earlier.
I'm going to bring out like a
plug-in. Have you got?
No.
Are they going to be hard copies?
No.
Okay.
My wallet's over there. It has the little download card inside.
You could send me a picture of the cover. Have you got a picture of the cover already?
I do have a picture.
I will blend it here. Look at it.
Which I made.
You done that? Whoa.
Well, actually, as it's here.
Yeah. It's gonna be here.
Yeah. It's actually a picture of my face, so I didn't actually take a picture of it.
Parents made that.
No, yeah.
Bad joke. Carry on.
No, just trying to get it away from my head. A photographer called Robert Wild took that at an event which I was hosting, and he's amazing. He also did the directing for. Or the cinematography at least for the video for When the War Comes By, which is was going to be the second single from the EP with two Lindy Hop shag dancers.
Yes.
Which people have already seen, but I'll re-release it.
Oh, okay. So that's second single. One Horse Town is the first.
It will be the first one. And
we can listen to One Horse Town now, right?
Yeah.
Go and listen to One Horse Town. Freeze. And we're back, having listened to One Horse Town.
Yeah.
Good.
So and he did the front cover for that. It's going to be digital release on Audio Heart Records. They're based in Vienna, and the release concert will be on the 3rd of May at Replugged in Vienna.
Cool.
Don't know who the support is going to be yet, but it's sure to be a fantastic evening. Good joviality. There'll
be links to all of this stuff, of course, in the description. Guys, links in the description.
I don't know how well I'm selling it, but I need to get more energy about it, but it is a good record.
It's probably going to be good. Yeah. I've heard 2 of the tracks. No. One Horse Town, that's it.
One of them now. because
Yeah.
we
You
paused and you went.
probably
and
did
it.
that.
Yeah.
So you've heard One Horse Down, and that's proper good.
Yeah.
The other track with the Lindy Hop dancers
When
can
the War
also
Comes
be
By.
heard, right?
Yeah, it can be heard right now.
So there you go. That's 2 out of how many tracks?
4.
4 tracks.
And then one of those is called Blue Town of the North. I've got 2 songs with town in the title, which is a bit weird, but you can't stop these things as they come out.
Oh.
And a producer's favourite, Dan Fisher produced it, not mastered it, engineered it.
Mm-hmm.
It's called, what is it called now? Devil's Doorbell. Because I saw a flyer on the floor from a Christian group asking women not to ring their devil's doorbell. And I thought, fuck that. Everyone should be allowed to ring whatever doorbell they like.
With consent. All doorbells.
Naturally.
All
That goes
doorbells.
without
Consent,
saying.
guys.
So we've got a nice little
Full doorbell access.
yeah, kind of country Johnny Cash ring your doorbell
Ring your doorbell.
situation going on at the end.
Ring your devil's doorbell.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. If they wanted to dissuade people from interfering with their devil's doorbells, they shouldn't have made it so fun to say.
Yeah.
They should have thought of something more dreary and less fun.
Mm-hmm. It's good fun. Winter evenings.
Yeah.
You write songs like that.
Guys.
Instead of fiddling with your doorbell.
Brilliant. Do you find that songs are sometimes surprising live? You think you've got them down, you think you know what the response is going to be, and then you are staggered by what happens, either negatively or positively.
Yeah, is the general answer. But as we discussed, you know, I don't expect too much out of new songs when I take them on stage because they're usually only a quarter written.
Yeah.
So anything that happens is good. It's also a bit of a defense mechanism doing that, I guess, because then you can play, and if it's received badly, you can go, wow, it's not complete.
Yeah. Work in progress, guys.
Yeah, exactly. How they know. And but sometimes I've gone on stage with a complete song, and you know you're all G'd up because you know I rarely write a complete song and take it on stage, and then it's just like, So I said to him, you know, well, come on. That was a banger.
You feel like you've absolutely smashed it,
Yeah.
and you step back from the microphone and you go, yeah, nailed it. And people just go,
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
oh.
But then it makes you think, well, I shouldn't expect. Who am I to assume that people are going to love this? You know, just because I like it a lot.
Sure.
But then again, like I say, with the difference in applause as well, you can also be kind of staggered, especially if you've kind of half written a song and then this big applause comes at you, and you're kind of like, oh, okay, that was good, and that's obviously a great moment. But you can also learn from when you get this half-assed response, and you think like, it's not half-assed. It's exactly what it deserved, and you need to go back and work on it.
Yeah. Or it's not your audience. Sometimes that can happen as well, like you said.
It's difficult to know. So, out of all of those variables, I think the thing to take away is to just carry on doing whatever you're doing.
Consistency.
Until the room either clears out or pays attention.
Yeah. One of those two things happens. Brilliant. Let's talk gear for a moment. I think
it will be a moment.
Yeah, you are not much of a gearhead, is the impression that I've got, right?
Not so much. You might have got that from the fact that I play a wooden box. Yeah, I mean, I think testament to that is the fact that I've got a Fender Jazzmaster at home and a wooden box, and you know which one makes it to the stage. Yeah, I don't even know if I've got the Jazzmaster anymore. I might sell it. But yeah, it was also evident as well when there was this amplifier company. I really do like Bulgara amplifiers.
I like this story.
Yeah, and they invited me to talk about my amp.
Yeah.
On their Facebook live feed, and I thought that's fantastic. Yeah, I'll do that. And I was there for about an hour, just going through all the EQ and stuff as best I could. Sure. And I did it with Dan over my shoulder, the engineer, just in case he could jump in and talk about gear for a second.
Yeah.
You know, because I can actually only talk about it for a second. And it was really off-putting because all the way through the comments, I was just getting nailed by the
guitar nerds.
Yeah, by the gear freaks. I'm like, I can see the mic you're using. Why are you using that mic? I'll ignore that one. I was just only answering the nice ones. And then I ended up just turning it into a live session, and then just went like, okay, thanks very much, bye for now.
A real player?
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
my favourite comment.
Yeah, it's like, why you do it? Like, I always put mine through the bright channel, like on the bright input. He goes, why have you got it in the normal? I go, oh, no, it says normal.
It's a normal guitar.
That's as far as it goes.
Yeah.
You know, but I have a sound which I like, and I listen to a few people, and I go, I like that sound. We're going to try and go for that, and I find out how to create the sound I have in my head, and then once that's done, you move on, and I don't remember where the knobs were or what the desk was doing.
Yeah.
Just write the tunes, have the idea in your head, like, okay, it's going to sound like that. You put it down on record, you play it live, it goes, it sounded like that.
Yeah. And a performer like you as well, again, having watched you live, it is just as important for the style that you work in, especially if you're on your own, how you do what you're doing. That contributes massively to the impression that you make. And I think if you've got the correct attitude and you bring the right energy, whether you're in the normal input or the shiny input,
I've
not going to save.
I've never been too bright. I've been more normal than bright.
Normal.
Yeah. And if something's done with sincerity and passion, or it's a bit quirky, or done with a bit of flair, I don't really care how it sounds.
Yeah.
You know. I think that's also something to take away.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's why I bought this box. I just saw it online. Some guy in Huddersfield built it, and I went like, that looks great, and I just bought it there and then, because I didn't know how it sounded. I didn't know it, and I got it, and it ended up actually sounding really great. You know, through the Bulgaria that I have, and I thought, well, that was a lucky punt. And I did it just because I thought it looks good, and it'll be fun to play at home.
Was it like a cigar box?
Yeah, it's it's like a wooden case. It's called a cigar box guitar, but
yeah,
cigars must be pretty huge. Yeah, more like a shoe box. And you can open it up, and keep your sandwiches in it and stuff like that. It's quite.
You can open a guitar.
Yeah, you can open it up, and it was nice. I went to the guitar shop here in Vienna. The one in Gasometer, and I took it around to the guy, and he was like, "Oh, another guitar, kill me now," like they do, you know. And he opened up the case, and his eyes just lit up. It was like he had like Stratocasters coming out the ass, things like that, and Les Pauls, and he was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing!" And then when I came back to kind of pick it up, I said, "Oh, what do I owe you?" And he just goes like, "Oh, I'll walk to the coffee machine with you, and you can just get me a coffee." It was brilliant. So I just walked down to the.
You made his day.
Yeah, I was just talking to him about the guitar and things like that. But again, then gear talk. He soon realised that I didn't know what I was talking about.
It's got 6 strings, and it's brown.
Sometimes it's got 6 strings. I'm pretty sure the neck is from a Westfield, because the first electric guitar I ever had was a Westfield, and it always used to hang up on the top E on like the 12th fret.
Okay.
So you'd be really getting into it, and they go
donk. They
would just hang up,
hang off the fret. Yeah, sure.
And this guitar does the same thing. I've filed it down now, but yeah, I'm pretty sure.
There you go. You're filing down your frets. You're a proper guitarist.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know there's a normal channel and a bright channel. I mean, you're all over it.
Yeah. A real guitarist would.
A real player would use all the tone knobs.
A real player would use his hand. Mr. Purist.
I play the guitar with my mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, then back to live performance.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been performing live, like regularly now?
Since about 2007. Since I started at uni, but like not so regularly then. I did like one a year.
Okay.
But I went down. This isn't this story I was going to tell you about the live performance, but it's just another one. But I went down to just see what was going on in Sheffield. It's like my second night in the city. I didn't know anybody. I went down to a pub, and there was a guy playing the guitar, and he was okay. And I thought, this is different from my old town. And a guy comes out from the toilet, kind of with a megaphone, and goes, "You're fucking shit!" And I thought, like, right, it's a bit different here. And anyway, this guy turned out to be the owner of the bar, and he booked him. So I thought I'd better go home and write some songs, because that guy was all right. But yeah, since then, gigging quite regularly. I haven't actually gigged back in the UK since I left the island about 5 years ago. So
Okay.
I'd love to go back and actually do some concerts there, because people are kind of, you know, thought, well, where did Will go?
Yeah.
It'd be good to come back all screaming and yelping.
Yeah.
And
there's enough venues in England where, you know, you can play. If they like the sound that you're making, they'll let you play.
yeah,
It's not,
I think there is. I can always go out to Sheffield, and just helped Mark Peters book a tour. He's another artist here in Vienna.
See the Mark Peters interview link in the description.
And he is a nice guy as well. And we booked him to Bristol, Sheffield, London, and somewhat Norwich as well. So there's places around, but yeah, they're closing down, like flies close down. So it's a bit difficult to get back there. That's why I like being out here in Austria. You can't get a gig in, you know, one venue in a town. I had difficulty for the tour booking the gig in Salzburg, and I went, okay, I'll go somewhere else in Salzburg, and that's perfectly fine. Not much of a problem. And
Sure.
I mean, that couldn't happen. You know, I want a gig in Camden, okay, they won't have me. Where else is there? Nowhere. Okay, thanks. That's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't tried recently. We'll probably book another UK tour
Mhm.
soonish.
With
Start
Charlywood,
back into-
yeah?
With Charlywood.
Link in the description.
In the description.
Yeah.
Charlywood.com. Well, there's another question that I ask everybody who comes on, and that's, do you have any advice? Because my hope is that musicians or people who want to become musicians will start watching this, or musicians in training, or people who are learning the trade or just playing in their bedrooms. What advice could you give to young people thinking about getting into the game, mistakes that they could avoid,
Mhm.
be it in attitude or practical things that they should or shouldn't do? Or
Well, I think in terms of attitude and things that I wish that I'd known at that time was to just find a style and own it. Be a boss of that style, and just carry on with what you're doing, because there are people out there that will listen to your music. They might not be in your town or your area or even in your country, but there are people who love your music. And it's it's always a bit difficult to kind of know when you've written good enough songs to kind of present to people and things like that. Like, I found it very difficult to be self-critical, because every time I wrote a song I was so proud of it, and it's only until you get into the future, or older as it's known, that
here I am in the future.
no, it's good though, isn't it? We're time
I
traveling.
like thinking of it like that. It's a kind of time travel.
Yeah, it's not until you get older that you realise that now you're mature enough to move forward with your music and say what you actually wanted to say 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's only when you get like your John Lennons and so on that are kind of have like an adult's ability to write a song in a 15-year-old's body.
Mhm.
And if you like that, then you don't need any help. But mere mortals do need
Sure.
help. And it's a bit disheartening when someone says, oh, you've still got to find your voice. But it's true.
Mm.
You've got to take your time to perfect and find your style, and then just crush it.
But there's no reason that you shouldn't start.
No, there is
ASAP.
there is no reason at all. Of
Yeah.
course, it's nicer to get things done earlier, not because there's an age limit to getting into music or anything like that, but it's just because you want to enjoy that part of your career for longer than if you'd discovered your style when you were 50. And maybe I still haven't discovered my style. Maybe I find something even better, and I go, oh, that's it. That's what I really need to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a bit of a hodgepodge of advice there, but basically stick to a style which you feel comfortable with, and sod all the rest.
Right. If that was helpful or inspiring, please comment and like. If not, I mean, you know where the other button is, or we won't go to that. But I thought it was good advice.
Yeah.
Discussions below. Cool. Well, thanks very much for coming in. I
Quite
think
all right.
we'll draw it to a close there, because you've got gigs to go to.
I've got gigs.
And you're just going to play us a little song.
I am going to
before
play a
you
little
go.
song. I'm going to
God
do the
bless
new
you.
single, One Horse Town, off the EP When the War Comes By. It's out on the 4th of May.
Good.
release show on the 3rd of May.
Oh, that's some very professional plugging.
Yeah.
That was a proper plug.
Yeah.
It was very good. Okay, well, see you on the next Charlie Talk, and thanks for joining us.
Loved you ever since the start. Loved you ever since the start of my song. Since then I ain't done too much wrong. Loved you since the day I was born. Loved you since I came out the womb. And I came out creeping, I came out crawling around to the sound of a one-horse town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Loved you since the day it began. Loved you since I had ink in my pen. Since then I ain't wrote too many wrongs. Loved you since the day I could talk. Loved you since the day I could walk. And I came out creeping, I came out crawling around to the sound of a one-horse town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Loved you since the day I was born. Loved you since I came out the womb. And I came out creeping, I came out crawling around to the sound of a one-horse town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. To the sound of a one-horse town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, that one-horse town. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
VHS!